Blessings and light. This is Aymara, the musical revolutionary. Your host on the community buzz on Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music. This and every Monday at 3 p.m. From the home to the community to the wider world. Let us be the change we want to see. Join me this and every Monday at 3 p.m. on the community buzz on Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music.
For all your new construction and remodeling needs, come to Gillings and Things Hardware Store. Located in Danieltown, Falmouth, Trelawney, Gillings and Things Hardware offers the best prices in building materials. So call us today at 876-345-5156. That's 876-345-5156. Or email us at mozyg@yahoo.com. We deliver. Gillings and Things Hardware Store. You name it, we have it.
Another banger, baby, calm down, calm down. Yo, this your body.
Fit mind, fit body, fit community, fit world. This is Aymara, the musical revolutionary on the community buzz on Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music.
Before God and all mankind, I pledge the love and loyalty of my heart, the wisdom and courage of my mind, the strength and vigor of my body in the service of my fellow citizens. I promise to stand up for justice, brotherhood, and peace, to work diligently and creatively, to think generously and honestly, so that Jamaica may, under God, increase in beauty, fellowship, and prosperity, and play her part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race.
The struggle goes on. We are the builders of the pyramids. We are the builders of the stone cities of Zimbabwe. We build them White House. We build them factories. With blood, with sweat, with tears. With flesh, with bones. Them use build them economy. Now them want come con you and me. With them science and them technology. We make them take with knowledge. Now them are deafly. Them are blindly. We are walk, we are ride, we are drive, we are fly. Nah, look, nah, see. Eyes focus on the screen of an iPhone, Galaxy, tablet, Blackberry. Wake up, look. Uno no sister them are very weak. Ancestors crying out. Them are weak, you see we heading back to slavery. Robotic, digital, technological slavery. The rich take them session, call it recession. Left the world in yes. January 16, 2023. This is Aymara, the musical revolutionary. Alongside, sitting beside me is a former host of the community buzz. Today, my co-host with me, Ed Wallace, the controversial one. Yes, we are here excited, about what is happening today on Fit FM. You know what I mean? We will be also simulcasting on Primal Media, www.primal4k, right? So we can tune in there. So tune in over there. So on Primal, because we are simulcasting right across the world on Fit FM 96.7, Your Life, Your Music, Fit FM, ja.com. So log on there. So we're there on Facebook and we're over YouTube as well, right? So as we say, we are the builders of the pyramid. We are the builders of the stone cities of Zimbabwe. We are generally builder. We build them empire. Now it's time for I and I to really reclaim those empires that we have built and our ancestors built, because they are truly ours, right? So we must prepare ourselves as people, as builder of the world empires and system and economy. When we say that, we say it deliberately, because a lot of things that they hold on to now, they learned it from us. It's just because we don't realize we are the original people and everything else is carbon copy. That's the reality. Without any apology, Aymara said these things. Yes, and we always have to honor the founder of this movement. I call it a movement. Fit FM. Umoja. Umoja means unity, to strive for and maintain unity in family, community, nation, and race. You see, we always have to emphasize on these things because it is very important for us to build up ourselves, build our family, because it starts in the mind. And by extension, we build a community. And then by extension, we build a better country. And that will transmit to the rest of the world, you know. So we're happy that we are here today. Little from this, me have a little discussion with my sister, Nehima Edwards from Primal Media Group. So we are going to talk about this simulcasting, you know, who came up with the idea. Nehima, you are just a beautiful soul. So we are going to talk about that. But before we go into that, you know, let me just introduce my brethren. Oh, you doing, Mr. Ed Wallace?
What the hell go on, man? Good. God's good to me. Yeah, man.
I'm happy to see you, man. And I'm happy to sit beside such esteemed individual.
What's up, big I'm always humbled to be here. Yeah. And I'm happy to be back here in this chair right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
What? We are the second host?
Second?
Yes?
No.
Errol Entertainer was here a couple of weeks.
That was community affairs.
Yeah.
Community affairs.
Community bus.
Yeah.
All
right. You see, that's why we have to talk them here, because you know we need clarity on everything.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, it was community affairs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so the buzz start with Ed.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
man. And not only the buzz started with Ed, but my own radio career. I can't call it career now. Started with.
Start here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Why maybe if you did in a media?
No. What happened was that Julia just called me up one Sunday morning. I was lying in bed, and she said, Ed, I'm putting this to you. And I said, okay, yes, I love you so much that I'll do anything that you ask me.
How much I love Julia?
The thing about Julia that you have to understand, Julia is also a builder. We're talking about builders earlier on. And this idea, you see, ideas are really people, you know, expressions of people.
Our people are
manifestation. No, you can do that too. You can do that too if you want. But you know, I love Julia's idea because the idea is a representation of self.
Yeah.
And so
self,
man.
family,
and everything, ancestors, everything, community, everything,
country, and
everything,
to the world,
everything to the world. Yeah, it's a vibes. Yeah,
it's a vibe. It's a vibes. Yeah. So for the first one, I have to go and talk, but about 4:00 we will be talking to Simone Maddox, former judge, and she impregnated with an idea called Anchorage, a new kind of justice. So we are going to allow her to deliver her baby here later again.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay, that sounds
a
good.
new kind of justice, So I'm looking forward to that as well, But before we're going, you have Nehima there? Would I just like chit chat with Nehima little? Like we could have played some music.
No, but what I would love to do, what I'd love to do is to go through, because I came prepared with some greetings to big up some people. And
Okay.
A long time I'm not come and say,
I mean,
a
go
long
ahead,
time I'm
man.
not come and
Go
say,
ahead, man.
this is Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and some birthdays to and all them kind of thing.
Yeah, man.
So, Navleen Thompson down there in Savlamar at your store there. Well, your store name again, I soon remember it, right? But big up to you. Don Browning over there in D side. You must have done Malpit now, Don, trying to do some mining over there. Annette up there in Duncansville. Big up Annette. Yeah, man. Everyday listener. Fair radio and a ton off, right? Mm-hmm. I want to also big up some people in the health services, co-workers and all them kind of thing upon a permanent job. And in particular, my boss, Mrs. Bell Cummins. And I further want to big up Mr. Victor Williams, the 28-year-old veteran in the ambulance driving down there at the Falmouth Hospital. So big up Mr. Williams, Victor Williams there. All right. There are some other people I want to bring in. Tova Hamilton, big up. And I just finished speaking to Dr. Harris, left his office. So big up Dr. Harris. There are some other special people now. I call them Mavoy Rob from Clarkstown. She's the big up, big. Love you like how I love Julia, for real. And then we have Verna, and Verna is Prince Earl. Verna Prince Earl. Just meeting her, just getting to know her. Big up, Mrs. Prince Earl. Long time associate. And Andy, yeah, big up. Just want to big up you guys. On the other hand, too, when I'm on, I always recognize people with losses, and I'm first gonna mention my father because I lost my father on the 26th of December. He was 90 years old. But he checked out. And it's a good checkout because at the time he was suffering from some pain and all kind of things. So the checkout was timely. And I want to especially mention Aino lost his son. Aino from Jamaica Observer, reporter in the Trelawney. He lost his son. I just saw him on the road. We were talking a while ago. Diego Hines. And we want to extend our Fit FM condolences to Aino. Aino been in the media business for a while, and we appreciate the work that you've been doing. All those other persons who have had losses in their family, we want to just extend our condolences to you and pray that God will tarry with us all as we go through our time of bereavement. Having said that,
man, condolences to all the families, and know that it's a part of the journey of life, for every one of us. So we are just here for a moment, and it is just in and out. Life goes like that. Yes, so Nehima is online. Blessings and light. Greetings, my sister Nehima Edwards from Primal Media 4K. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent on this Martin Luther King Day. How are you? How is the family at Fit FM? Ed, Julia, Imara?
We're there.
All right.
So as you salute the great Martin Luther King, let us also from Jamaica give our salute, to a very, very great and significant leader in the history of Black history, make we say that, so, enough respect.
Absolutely, because Black history belongs to all of us all over the diaspora. We share in that, and we celebrate in that.
From the continent to the diaspora. yes, Yes, Neema. Today is a very historical day for us, Primal Media
Yes.
and Fit FM, right? We are small casting, and you're the one who, came up with the idea. I just want to know why, just tell the people why you came up with that idea, and we are here, today. So that idea just, impregnated by Nima Edwards. And right now, today is the delivery day,
The delivery day. Oh my gosh, I'm in pain. The pains. Well, this is as a mother of 4, this is the most joyous birth that I have ever given. I'm telling you. No need for pain meds. So listen,
Yeah.
Primal Media Group is the brainchild of my partner, Joel Gaddafi, as you know, the Muyoungs of Portland, Jamaica. He is the actual brainchild of Primal Media Group, and I am his partner, and I'm blessed to be able to have this platform in order to do what you're doing, which is informing and combining and collecting the community and letting them know what's out there and what's available to them. And we launched back basically May 7th of 2021. So this is our 2nd year in business. And we're very proud to be able to say that we've reached worldwide, the community. We're all over the world. We're an internet radio station, and we're rooted in community. We're rooted in news. We have music, we have sports, we have a plethora of DJs, and we're just at the beck and call of what the community needs. And we're here to offer it. And when I heard of your show, you started about 2 months ago. And I heard the way that you were interacting with people of prestige, people who have a degree of power in Jamaica and able to make changes. And you were directing them in a way that helped the community gain a perspective that they hadn't had before. You're not afraid to ask the deep questions. You're there to address the needs of the community and the concerns of the community. And we thought here at Primal that it was a community, actually a collective responsibility. Let's go back to Ujima. Ujima, a collective responsibility to inform the public around the world as to what is happening in Jamaica, so that people away from home that live abroad, live afar, and know what's happening and know what you're doing. And we think that that's really important, and that's part of our mission here at Primal.
Blessings.
So that's why this was very vital.
So it's still rooted in the principle of Kwanzaa, because you're going to Ujima to build, maintain community together and make our brothers and sisters problems our problems, and we solve them together. You know what I mean? That's the responsibility that all of us, if we really want to make a change in the world, all of us must take on this kind of responsibility. I'm here with
Absolutely.
I'm here with the founding host of Community Buzz, Mr. Ed Wallace, and we are going to have a nice discussion today. We're going to go deep. He's a political what would I call it, preacher, just like me. So we are going to talk a little bit about politics, and we are going to see some of the things that is happening in the community. He mentioned to me that he need to talk about intra-community issues. So I am happy that we are a part of Primal Media, right? And I'm always a family of that media network. There are so many great things happening over there, And further on, we will talk about it. So I give thanks to you to come on and just share your perspective, and we will talk very soon, my dear sister. So big up all of the family, them at Primal Media. So we are saying welcome on board, And great things
Indeed.
is happening right now.
Yes.
Yeah. So, boy, look how the thing work. I never even know, say, today is Martin. May I tell you, it's slip there. And you see it? So you say it's straight. It's straight what? we complete that.
Nothing is by accident.
No. Everything.
Let the revolution continue. Let the revolution continue, and let us be the trailblazers in that force. Absolutely. And share this synergy and this energy.
Beautiful.
We're in the Primal 4K chat right now, chatting about what you will be talking about. So as you said, you're on Fit FM on Facebook. We're also on primal4k.com in our chat room.
Yes.
Sounds
Any
good.
place you guys want to come, just come in and add to the discussion, because that's what we want to do. We want to evoke the passion of the community and the concerns and the feedback, because you are important.
Blessings. Blessings.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nahima.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Love and light. Yes,
Yeah, man.
Mr. Wallace. That's where we're at now. You know what I mean? So, what is it you have to tell us today about intra-community issue?
Well, I'll tell you
What is happening?
That-
You know?
The first thing I want to tell all of Trelawney is that we just got a new ambulance after, suffering for a period of time with a lot of downtime with our ambulances that, were here previously. The government of Jamaica just supplied Falmouth Hospital with a brand new ambulance, and we're hoping that, that ambulance is going to serve the community in the sort of way to ensure good health of the people and, save lives. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I'm hoping to, even though we have the ambulance to do the carrying of people, that will reduce the use of the ambulance by, cutting down on the accidents on the road. Slow down. Remember, drivers, it's not just you. You have your family to live for, little children to live for, you have your parents, community, and some of us are very strong supporters of our communities, and we're also a mainstay in our families. So let us look at that when we get around the steering to start driving. It's not just you. It's not just me. Slow down. The biggest issue on the road right now is slowing down. Any problem you have on the road can be solved by slowing down. Rainfall, slow down. Bad road, slow down. Dark, slow down. Just slow down, and we will be able to perhaps retire the ambulance. Who knows in terms of the road work.
In reality, though, as I say, slow down. What kind of mechanism can we put in place, to make some of the people slow down? Because, my brethren, it is serious out there. When you go out on the road, it's really a battlefield you're going.
It is true. It
you
is
understand?
True.
And
true.
I don't know, the man, they might drive some car at Jamaica, it is faster than European. And when they pass you, at that you are here, especially the BMW, them, especially some of them that we then call the Mark-X. Them big pass you, and the road out is really a battlefield.
Well, the thing is, I can tell you this: the vehicles don't have a mentality. It's a person behind the wheel that is doing all of this.
That is what I'm talking about. So I am saying to you just before that, I am saying to you, we know that is the mentality of people, and that is why the mentality lead them that them want the fastest car and believes the end of the year them are going to drive it. And I am seeing I encounter this every day I go up on the road. You know what I mean? One of the things that we experience at all times is when it comes to overtaking. The people, they might overtake and they might come into your lane and they might light you and I tell you, say, get out of the way, else it's dead.
You want better? A man run into your, take away your right of way, and you have an accident, and he comes out of his car and say, you never see me? So we as I say, is mentality, and that goes to discipline all over. In a little bit, I think we're going to slip over into education, and this is going to slip back into perhaps our educational discussion.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, we don't care about life. We don't. This generation, I'm calling it what? SDS. I mean, this is the death generation, sex generation, death generation. I don't know what is happening. We just don't care. Our children really don't care. And it makes me wonder what we as adults have been doing over time. What have we done to our children? What have we done? And what are we going to do to recover them? Because this behavior is going to continue if we don't find a way to deal with it, And so, I don't know. You asked me a very potent question, but that the answer to that question is going to be, it's going to need input from everybody, general in Jamaica, to see how we do it. One of the times I'd recommended, there are two schools of thought. When you see police on the road, don't flash anybody because you might be compromising an operation. I'm saying no, that when you don't see no police on the road, flash, let them slow down. Flash, let them slow down,
Yeah.
if police is there, you don't bother with it. But if the road is empty, you see people going on bad, especially when we have these major events, these entertainment events and so on, And right now we are having, even church folks, people who we think should know better, coming from church, coming from functions, speeding just the same. Let us just slow down, man. Let us all just slow down.
Yeah.
We're having better roads now, Amara, as we take our time, especially in Trelawney. I see where the government is trying to put in some repairs to the roads or some new roads. D-side, Wakefield D-side leg comes to mind right away.
When you said Wakefield D-side leg, explain to the people out there where that starts.
Okay. All right. The whole road, and Fit FM Community Buzz has been talking about this road for 2 years now. For 2 years now, Rockbridge included and some others, But finally, the Member of Parliament did come and speak to us at one point in time and told us that about $0.7 billion will be spent on the road from Falmouth to D-side to repair that road. But the planning out or the doing of the road is going to be done in phases. And so the D-side people have suffered more than anybody else in the world getting in and out of D-side with that road. And so that leg of and that's what I call a leg now.
From
Wakefield to D-side.
From Wakefield
to D-side. So that leg is very, very near completion. They're starting the Friendship to Wakefield spike in a little while. As a matter of fact, it should have been started last week. I will get a look at it again and inform Fit FM when that project has actually started to get off the ground. But I know, and I always believe Miss Hamilton, Tova Hamilton, our MP. I always believe her when she tells me that something is going to be done, because I've never ever seen her give no word and not come through with it.
Yeah.
So I expect the Friendship Road to be started as she said. So we have though the rest of the road now, because the Bounty Hall to Wakefield leg, let me put it like that, the Bounty Hall to Wakefield leg is still bad, very bad, and so we're hoping to see that going into progress ASAP. I'm hearing Duncan to Clarkstown. I don't know about that road yet, because when I ask questions, I ask about what we've been following up for the last 2 years, Julia. And so we expect. Another part that got really bad, and it was a protest late last year, was the Holland community, that community between Granville and Martha Bay, that stretch of road there, very bad too. Some repairs have been done to kind of alleviate the problems there, because one and really and truly, I'm going to come back to this point as well. The bus stop just to turn into William Nib School, just at the lower road there at Martha Bray, to turn into William Nib and to go over to Holland High.
Yeah, man. Let's see. Let him go and talk.
Yeah, Holland High. Those roads are slated to be done. It was slated to be started in December. Didn't start, but I expect those roads to be started soon. So the security issue with the road, though, I was trying to, apart from everything else, the mushing up of your car and the damage to vehicle and all that kind of thing, separate and apart from that, it becomes a security issue for me. When you have to slow down to almost a dead stop,
yeah,
to navigate the potholes and stuff like that, it gives criminal, if they will, an opportunity. And you're vulnerable right there. And so I'm hoping that the roads are fixed quickly. All the mechanism, all the operations are put in place so that the roads can be done.
Yes.
But then we come back now to how we use the road and the speeding when we have good roads. So it's damn if we do and damn if we don't. I'm hoping that we'll use the road properly. You have something to say?
Whether or not, one of the things that we're looking forward to is to make sure that we have good road to drive on, and to traverse on. Because if we don't have good road, whether or not people slow down, yes or no, that is the response. And I don't know how people, that's why I ask you, what kind of mechanism can we put in place, to stop people? But let us not even think about why if the road bad, people will slow down. That is a dangerous thing, because I realize that people don't even slow down on bad road. The same attitude that them have on the on highways, the same attitude.
You see that sometimes.
I'm seeing it because I drove on that road from heading to Wakefield, right. We're turning to William Nib there, I saw some kind of repair start taking place further up. But when you come down to William Nib, you wonder what is happening. What kind of draining system? Because drainage system they're going to put in place, especially for that leg of the road. Because they fix that road so often. And in one shower of rain, it go right back to what it was. Since I'm living in Falmouth here, I believe that leg of road,
Which one again?
Just from CM William Nib going up to
To Zion. Okay. For that road, actually there is a culvert situated. There's a little street just in front of where should I put it now? Directly in front of the road that is going to take you to William Nib. It comes from out Martha Bay, the Martha Bay district, and goes straight on. But it's not a good road right now. All right, we hardly use it for driving, if any at all. Now, right at the foot of that hill, there is a culvert there, and so I don't know if that culvert is going to be rehabilitated to allow water flow.
No, but when you repaired, right, the road's supposed to be there for a while. You can't fix. We don't have enough resources in Jamaica. To be fixing road every time a shower, a rainfall, because that is exactly what is happening. I'm seeing these things very, very often. I'm looking on a leg of road on Top Street in Falmouth, and that road is not even a year since them repaired that road. And when I look on the condition of the road right now, I'm wondering what is happening.
That may have been done more than a year, but a whole lot of things happen there was a long time, and perhaps not so long ago, talk show host in Jamaica called Mutty Perkins. And Mutty Perkins used to say, once politics is mixed into the asphalt, the road not going to last very long.
Or we're going to get politics out of the asphalt. Or are we going to get politics out of the asphalt?
You see, here's the deal. I won't pretend to have all the answers to the questions, Yeah. There's a place named Draggy and Falmouth.
Okay.
That's just across from KFC. All right. And it runs along the canal down back into Falmouth Gardens site area there. That road was asphalted somewhere in 2020, I think it was.
Yeah.
2020, early 2020. And it didn't last 8 months good.
Why?
Because after traffic started using it, it just fell apart. It just simply fell apart. And so I don't know. I don't know how we do these things, but Jamaica is going to have to get something going in relation to, especially the internal roads.
So I believe we have a problem with proper engineering and them things, because it seems like that is one of the biggest problems that we are having. That the people who got the contract to do these roads, how much a lot of these people know about building of road and the mechanism to put in place that we have the road to serve
You know,
people. This
I
is something I believe we have to pay attention
I am
to that,
prepared.
the engineering
I'm prepared.
aspect of it.
I'm prepared to say the people who are building the roads are well qualified.
Well qualified.
Yes, well qualified to
Okay.
build roads. But what I'm also prepared to say is that no matter where you're at, if you don't have enough resources and you try to stretch the resource, there's an optimum point beyond which you cannot attempt to stretch resources. And if you stretch it beyond that optimum point, you're going to have problems. And so in order to try to get good road surfaces, if even temporarily, I think that is playing a role in what is happening with road building. You know?
Temporarily, but you have to fix it every 6 months
Mhm.
as a rainfall. As a rainfall.
I understand.
How that
I understand exactly what you're saying.
No, but
if-
that is that to only look at that, my brother Ed,
Mm.
is wasting of resources that we already know have. you
I
know.
hear you. I agree with you. I'm not here to defend a point in relation to that scenario. I'm just
No,
trying to explain to you what might be happening there.
Yeah.
You know, so and I because the road in Martha Bay, for example, the road that runs through Martha Bay was fixed a few years ago through Councillor Service. And that road takes us through the middle of Martha Bay, passes my house, and go back down to intersect and intertwine with the road going to Granville. That road is totally gone right now. I saw that road being built, and we could all see that after a time it was going to go. What has happened now is that the diversion of the traffic from the main road that runs across William Nib and runs into Granville, that has been so damaged that all the traffic is passing through the middle of Martha Bay now, and the weight of the trucks especially is actually doing damage, or rather has done significant damage to the roads on the internal part of Martha Bay. So it's like, as I said, I'm not here because people need good roads. People need good roads. As to how we're going to finance all of that right now to get it as proper as you would have wanted it.
As we, not me.
As
a people in
I don't
Jamaica.
know. Sometimes some people just want a temporary relief, but to get it as proper as it should be, let me put it that way. To get it as proper, say again, ma'am? Oh, the bridge, Rock Bridge?
Before
okay.
you come, make quick link up the people them know that them can call in, you know.
Go ahead.
876-478-9144, 876-317-1991, you know. You can call in, you can send in a text, or you can send in a voice note, you know, if you have any issue with roads or water or whatever go on. You know, some military have to wipe up to come out today, though. Kind of water.
We're going to get to that too. We're going to get to that too.
But anyway,
in relation to road, as if we're going to have a final word, one of the things that we must not pretend is that it's only at Jamaica alone, rain mash up road. All across the world, we hear about millions and sometimes billions of dollars of roads being damaged by virtue of
me not
flooding.
really like them diversion.
So,
Ed.
I don't know that it's a diversion.
Yeah, when
It's straight up.
man, when we're talking about issue that is facing us, we don't really want to compare with what.
No, but
it's
here's
like
this.
a man I say.
Hear this.
Look, go ahead.
Hear
It's
this.
like a man I say, me's a bad man, and me I do certain things certain way, and you have to say to him, say, boy, me have to do it that way they talk. No,
No, I don't agree with that
no, man, hear what me I
equivalence.
say,
I
man.
don't agree with that
Well, hear what me I
equivalence.
say to you. We want
I'm going to say this to
Hold
you.
on, Ed, let me just finish that. What I'm saying, if we are facing certain issues, we are looking at us here in Jamaica. I don't really want to wonder about what is happening in other country. How we can fix ourselves, how we can make the small amount of resources that we have, how we can make sure, so when we use it, you know,
I get your point.
we can use it in such a
I
way,
get your point.
we can use it in such a way that it can serve us, that we can have Because remember, the little resources have to spread wide and far, and have to deal with education, have to deal with
I'm happy you
health,
said
have to
that.
deal all of these
I'm happy you
things.
said that. But
So
what
if
I'm
we are
saying to
going
you,
to deal with road, let me finish. If we are going to deal with road, we cannot be fixing road every 6 months or every time some rain fall. It better we sit down, look on the situation, look what is, some of the issue. Like for what? For instance, drainage. We realize they just go throw some asphalt in the road. The drainage side them still black up, don't clean out. When the rain fall, what happens? So, and you just tell me that you believe that the people who are fixing the road are well qualified. Oh, well qualified they are. When you can see that these issues is either them are going to use it as a feeding tree, as you say, where there is road problem.
I don't recall saying it's a feeding tree.
No, I am saying
okay.
that. I am saying that.
Okay.
I say that. I say a lot of them, and that is always say, because if you see a pothole, every minute a rain fall, somebody come and fill it out back again. It look like say something where somebody just eat a food off every month or every 6 months or whenever rain fall. We have to. I mean, no say. Me know say as to Jamaica run, we have to get out of that mentality.
Right.
I mean, I'm talking about just this government, because I don't want people to believe that. I'm not talking about just with this government. It happened on a both administration.
Right.
Let me get that clear.
So I'm gonna make this point now.
Yeah.
That in what we're looking at is a whole lot of situation with, and some of us don't believe it. Climate change is really affecting us. All right, climate change is really affecting us. And when you see these floodings come when they come, we can't. As a matter of fact, we are actually failing with precise predictions now in relation to weather patterns, because things are changing so rapidly. And one of the things is that in line with road or any kind of building, we cannot be building the same way. Is one of the changes we might have to make. We cannot be building the same way. But right now, the weather is really doing us damage. And Jamaica suffered from weather over the last 4 or 5 years badly with respect to our roads.
Agree with you. But over the years, some of the roads that affected by weather, if with proper engineering and knowledge and know where the water is coming from, or we are going to channel the water elsewhere. All of these things, I am seeing that those aspects, of fixing our road are not at the forefront of the minds of the people who are working. It's just we just drop some. Even when I drove recently past which is another road I was always, why this road stay so? The road where rather office depend, that road right here, so right? And I drove past it on that road recently because I did stop drive around there, so because it's too bad. And I recognize that some asphalt just drop all about the place. And I'm wondering if people really get paid for all of this kind of messy work, let me see.
Well,
because it's really messy.
I'm not
drive around it.
I've driven around there.
Okay.
It's a bad road, really bad road. But then, as I said, maybe somebody should vote for me at a later point in time. Make me prime minister, I'll get it done.
You have that intention?
I mean, why not?
Me never know say you have political. You want to be the prime minister of Jamaica?
If the people ask me, of course, why not? Why not? Why not?
Okay.
I think I can. Give me the presidency of America, I'll do it too.
Sure.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay. All right. What else we want to talk about? Because we have some more now come up.
All right. So
in about
a few minutes.
Yeah.
Education. Perhaps we could do a little bit thing. I've just been appointed chairman of a school board. I won't say which school board right now because the board is not fully constituted. But I just want to thank again Tora Hamilton for that appointment, and indeed the Minister of Education for having that faith in me to say that Ed can perhaps bring some leadership and some experience to this particular job, and to move the education process for our children forward. So that is what is happening there. Our education, our students, our children, I don't know. We need to find some way to pull them back from the direction which they seem to be heading. And it's not just them seem to be heading, because where our children are heading, that's the exact same direction the whole country is heading. So we want to see everybody who can participate in the process of helping out a school, helping out a child, helping out the education system in any way, you know. I'm putting it to you that you owe it to Jamaica, if you're Jamaicans, to assist with the education system. Every our children is at your right. The humans just are pitching to make sure that in a way we can extend the life of this world to our children's children. That is how we're supposed to use the earth, you know. And so I'd like to encourage everybody to move in that direction, to help out with education.
As somebody who's a part of the education system, we are seeing now that we are moving into what we call the fourth industrial revolution. We saw what took place during COVID. During COVID, we went online and we realized that there's a lot of children who suffered immensely from that because they didn't have the instrument, and those who even have instrument never have the means of the service provider, you know, to function effectively. We understand, and this government is boosting it very much, you know, that the fourth industrial revolution. We're moving into that phase right now. How much the education system are prepared for that?
Prepare for the
fourth industrial revolution.
For the fourth industrial
learning and online schooling. Just in case another pandemic come again, and we have to deal with that, because as you're talking about helping children, if you observe what is happening now, which you must have knowledge of, that there's a lot of children, you know, are way behind since COVID.
All right. Again, you're treating me more like a guest than a co-host.
Yeah, man, you know, reason.
I'm gonna go there. The fact of the matter is that we've learned a lot from COVID. Over the years, we have done the traditional chalk and talk, and chalk and talk is still not out. We're still there with the chalk and talk. Chalk on the blackboard.
Yeah, man, we know where
and talk, all right? And so COVID caught us in a way that we had to change. We had to see the need for change. And right now, as I see it, COVID was just yesterday. So that switch into the in the technological world and the online and all that kind of buzz will happen eventually, because we have to go there. You see, right now, as I've been telling some people, that the problem right now is not so much content. It's not so much content of what we're trying to get into the student's mind. It's learning how to learn faster, or learning how to learn. And it is with this technology that we are going to assist that progress. Because we're really behind sometimes when we look at a comparison to Japan, for example.
We're always behind.
Right?
Not
necessarily. Not necessarily. Because before now, the education in Jamaica was a very good one. It was difficult for a student to leave high school without a trade up to 10, 15 years ago. It was very difficult to leave unless you didn't want to learn, you know? And so whether you were going to doing dress sewing, whether you were doing cookery, whether you were doing carpentry, masonry, you would automotive skills, because that was at Homo Technical High School. You would so that education system for me is a generally good educational system.
You see us going back there? Or?
If we need to go, but in a different kind of a way. And so the STEM system that the government is attempting now, science, technology, engineering, and math, that STEM system is supposed to bridge the gap into the fourth industrial revolution. We're talking also about services and all that kind. I think Jamaica will do it, we can do it. And the resources are not that unavailable that we can't get to do it. This time now we can spread the resources even without, because just about every child right now have a cell phone. Just about every child. Now, the smallest or the simplest cell phone that a child has currently, I will tell you, is 25 times or more powerful than the computer that took man to the moon and back. So they're having a lot of power in our hands right now.
Well,
and it can be utilized.
Having power and don't know how to use it. And
I hear you. Yeah. I was going there. So the idea now is to get our students and get our people, as a matter of fact, to utilize all this power and knowledge that is in this little instrument, right? To actually get what we want out of it. It's like fire. I think we had a discussion. Fire is a good thing. Fire is a bad thing, depending on how you decide to utilize it. And so all this in our hands must now be harnessed in the proper way for us to get the best of it. Yeah?
Yes. So but we still want to stay upon education with the fourth industrial revolution because of what we observe happening. And as I said, we are having more of these things in the hands of our children, cell phone, tablet, who can afford laptop, having it. But when we look on the structure of the education system, that is something we have to pay attention to. You talk about STEM. Can you elaborate a little to us and to the public out there? What are some of the things that is in STEM that can help or look like what was there in the 70s or them time?
I don't believe I don't believe I know enough about STEM to go that deeply. But what I will tell you is simply this: STEM is not taking us back to the 70s. That's not what it's doing. It's trying to advance us and bring us into the said fourth industrial revolution. As you mentioned, it's focusing on science, technology, engineering, and math. And the movement forward is primarily bounded up in those four concepts, So what we're doing is to look, people are always talking about things like building a better mousetrap, new inventions, better ways to do things, and all of that. This is what it is about. Right now, you have AI building a full motor vehicle.
Artificial intelligence.
Yes, artificial intelligence.
Yeah,
building a whole motor vehicle. You have concrete printers printing buildings, right? So pretty soon, a whole lot of what we're doing now that would have taken us back to the 70s would be just quite obsolete, just done.
Okay, so I'm glad you got to that point. So it means that while an AI, artificial intelligence, come into place, it means that a lot of people will also be out of job. You remember the fourth industrial revolution, that the industrial revolution. Industrial revolution was to move closer to having technology or machines to do work. Now we see the fourth industrial revolution even going further, especially when you look into the banking system and all of these things. There's a lot of people who used to work with even GPS and other companies are out of a job right now because they have been replaced by the fourth industrial revolution. That is, and the structure of it.
Well,
now, this is what me ask pertaining to our country, Jamaica. You believe we're really ready for that? You believe the farmers them up in a wire fence and in the hills of southern Chilani? Hold on, me just want to say, you believe we're ready for that kind of fourth industrial? You believe our education system as it is right now, have the kind of resources to sustain this kind of fourth industrial revolution, because it is not us who come up with this. This fourth industrial revolution is coming from the outside world. We are just trying to catch up. That's why I said early on.
You're asking a whole lot of questions in one. You're asking a whole lot of questions.
Listen what me say. Let me finally, because it's not a whole lot of questions. I am saying, do you feel that we are at the point now? Do you feel that we can, sustain this fourth industrial revolution, or are we going to be effective in it?
Let me just say this. I define intelligence as the extent to which an entity can successfully negotiate its environment.
Good.
All right? And so if our environment change and we don't change, if the tools and implements needed to do the work change and we don't change, we're always going to be left behind. So we can't just sit and say the coming of progress is going to drop back certain people. Certain people have to, and here's a problem in schools too. The idea of wanting to learn, curiosity, trying to find out, studying, doing scholarly stuff to get to where you want to get is important. And so intrinsic motivation, internal motivation, motivation from within
is very important.
Is very important. It is required, and so we can't sit back and make excuses for people who won't move. I tell a story from my Bible sometimes, and people, here's something that made me controversial again. There was a man by the pool of Bethesda or something like that. I can't pronounce the names all the time. But he was there for 36 years. He wouldn't move. Jesus came to him and said, look here, man. Do you want to be healed? You know what the man do? He started make a bag of excuse. A bag of excuse. Until Jesus, my words now, don't even tell pastor say I said this.
Yeah.
Jesus said, get up before I kick you. And he rose up and he walked.
I see a man of Jesus say, take up thy bed and walk.
You see a man.
I see a man.
See a man. Get up before I kick you. Wait a minute, I'm saying this to you. I'm saying this to you before you go there. We have to take up our beds and walk. We can't just look on the environment and say, boy, not now go on, and sit down there. We have to get up and move.
Yes, we totally agree with that. But you see, you said something a while ago.
By the way, I'm a Christian now.
Yeah,
I am a Christian.
You said something a while ago from that internal motivation. Yeah, I mean, that is something that is very powerful. And when you talk about intelligence pertaining to somebody, understand where they want to go, right? With that internal motivation. What I'm saying to you, pertaining to this fourth industrial revolution, it is not a motivation that is led by us, and we have to be just catching up, and we becoming more a consumer to this and supplying the people who create this, not in our interest per se, if you observe what is happening, because all of this is about economics. It's a new kind of economic shift, even the educational system. So we have to pay attention. I'm saying let us pay attention. So it's not to back and forth, We're just paying attention to what is happening in the world and how we are going to position our children to charge of themselves. You know what I mean? That rather than catching up with what somebody else created, what is it that we are going to invent for ourselves economically, politically, and in other forms?
I'll say this. If we are intent on becoming or staying Pavlov's dogs.
What's that mean? Explain that.
There was a man who did some experiment way back in the day. And he did it with dogs to see if they were intelligent and learning beings and all of that.
Yeah.
And he would get them up to have food every time a bell rings. All right. And they would just them bell ring food right, until he started ringing the bell without bringing the food. And right away, the dogs will start salivating. They're ready to eat. They're not seeing no food. And so if we intend to continue to wait for a bell ring and food to come, we're going to be in the same dilemma. And that is why I'm saying to you now, curiosity is absolutely important in our students. And we go back in our learners, not just students now, in our learners and everybody. We are all considered learners.
Okay.
And so what I want to input into this is that in terms of the motivation, the parents, that's why up front, I wondered what we were doing as parents in this lifetime. The parents have to be a part of the whole program to build that motivation with the children for it to become intrinsic motivation after a time.
So some of the parenting them need, some of the parents them need parenting right now.
And that is correct.
So say, all right. So we have a lot of problem to fix. Somebody, yeah. We soon bring on judgment. Just give me a little time. She's on there now. She's all right. See, but when they're at there, I was like, see, so here we know. You want to play a piece of music before, man. Play a piece of music for cool off. Right?
We build them White House. We build them factories. With blood, we sweat, with tears. With flesh, with bone. Build them economy. How can you and me with them science and them technology? We make them take with knowledge. Now them are deafly. Them are blindly. We are walk, we are ride, we are drive, we are fly. Nah look, nah see. Eyes focus on the screen of an iPhone, Galaxy, tablet, Blackberry. Wake up, look. Uno no sister them are buried with. Ancestors crying out. Them are weak, you see we heading back to slavery. Robotic, digital, technological.
Welcome forward to the community buzz. I'm sitting here with my controversial brethren, Ed Wallace, the controversial Ed Wallace, brilliant mind. And right now we want to introduce our sister. We can't continue with this kind of testosterone vibration. Yeah, energy balance thing, So I'm going to introduce our dear sister, Simone Judge, former judge Simone Maddox. Simone, are you there?
Good evening, Imara. Good evening, Ed. I was enjoying the last your discourse. And I want you all to know I come here to adjourn your court.
Okay. You heard Ed talking about education and how we can move forward. Now
yes,
you are here to deliver anchorage,
Yes.
a new kind of justice. So I want to hear how the new kind of justice can work alongside some of that we are here discussing. So you have the floor, my dear sister.
She was saying something before that. So she was opening with something before that.
Just a segue from what you both were last saying about the need for change. I want to start by quoting some gentleman by the name of Adolf Toffler. And what he said was that the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read nor write, but rather those who cannot learn, unlearn, or relearn. So
Exactly.
that is a declaration about the need for change, and a new kind of justice is about change.
So, can I still call you a judge?
You can call me judge as an affectionate term, but it has no value anywhere.
Okay. All right. So, in terms of the western side of the world, the American, the Jamaican, the Trinidad and Barbados, and all of that, this new kind of justice that we're talking about now, what exactly, if you were to kind of give us a preview as to what that is all about, I'd love to hear it.
And I'm just craving your indulgence for 1 second just to get my technology intact. Just a minute. Yes, back with you now. Yes, so a new kind of justice cannot be fully defined at this stage. It's inspiration, though, that has been informed through me over years of interacting and engaging in the justice system, as we call it. And how I see it at this time, it's a different attitude toward justice issues, towards those questions. It's a different approach for ourselves and to others who are leaders in the justice sector. And this doesn't only apply to the courts, but to the, let's call it the police system, let's call it the prison system, let us call it how the communities and other groups feed into the justice system. So it's a big picture dream, if one could put it in that way. And a new kind of justice intends to use positive language to engage others around these justice questions, because many persons, it is recognized and acknowledged, feel separated from or alienated from the justice system, even by virtue of the language that is used. So if we can talk about justice in simple language, plain, down-to-earth language sometimes, I think we will be communicating in a better way among ourselves and with others.
Okay, so that is one component of a new kind of justice. Could you tell me any other component that would enter into your perhaps into your courtroom? Because right now in Jamaica we're talking about things like restorative justice, that kind of a thing. Could you speak about any other component?
And there are aspects of the system as it is now that would be seen in some quarters as progressive, and there are other aspects that are seen as oppressive. So this is a way of relating to justice, which is for understanding it outside of the current courtroom, outside of the current system. This is how we are going to approach it. So this platform that we're calling a new kind of justice will afford ordinary persons, everybody, regardless of what direction you're coming from in relation to justice, to feel a sense of ownership of this system, this way of communicating, this way of relating. And it has also with it a personal growth component, so that you don't have to limit yourself to calling yourself a defendant or a sufferer or a victim of the system. You can choose to embrace a different self-image, whether that be survivor or victor or someone more knowledgeable and learned. So that is not the purview of judges and lawyers and police officers and probation officers and other leaders in the system. Everybody has an opportunity to see themselves differently and to have some of their questions answered, to contribute to answers, to contribute to new ways of doing things and being a part of the system, because it's ours.
Simone,
Yes,
when you
and
say positive language,
yes.
can you give us a clearer definition when you say positive language?
Language that allows the listener or the user of it to communicate what they want to say about the justice system. So when you go to court, sometimes you may be told you are charged for an offense, and it is stated to you with using Old English or even Latin. And at the end of it all, you don't even know what was said to you. This is a way of allowing you to appreciate, long before you even reach to a court, what it is you are to answer to, and to give you a chance to appreciate even the charge, or if it's a suit and you are suing somebody or somebody is suing you, you understand fully what you are up against, so that it allows parties even to resolve their differences before they even get to court, because they understand what took place between them and the other person.
Are there any implications in relation to our constitutional arrangement, this new kind of justice?
Absolutely. I would say yes. It will enhance our appreciation of the constitutional provisions. It will allow us to look at the Constitution through the lens of the language that is used in a new kind of justice. So it is like a translator, and it will equip us to engage in a meaningful way in terms of debates about reform, about amendments. It will put us in the driver's seat in terms of appreciating the provisions that now exist, and make for a more informed and participatory population.
I see you're emphasizing language. Language comes in a lot. And as you speak, I'm asking if this is a near equivalence to what we see in the American courts, not the system now, but the courts in terms of how they speak. Because when my monitoring or looking at the American system, they talk very plain language. There's no Latin. I don't see no Latin more than often, and all of that. Are you saying there's a simplification of the language with respect to how the everyday man would have been speaking?
I don't have any exposure to the American court system. I've never been to court in that setting before. I haven't really watched too many movies concerning the American system, and some of it would be for movie viewers in any event. But it has come out of years of observation, years of experience, of seeing how people respond in a setting such as the court, based on the disconnect that they feel, or based on the misunderstanding of what is put to them. And sometimes a simple thing, or well, not really a simple thing, but time is wasted going over things that could be dealt with upfront because somebody didn't understand. It is acknowledging that we are peculiar in how we communicate. So to give you an example that might come home to you, this whole concept of pleading guilty with explanation, it is really not known to the law, you know, if we're going to be strict about it.
That is true. That is true.
Yes, a guilty plea is to be unequivocal, straightforward, and to the point. But we are in Jamaica, and in Jamaican courts, everyday courts, which the parish courts are, or everyday courts, most people will never get to the Supreme Court or the Court of Appeal or before a constitutional court. So I call the parish courts the everyday courts. And that is where I spent my time. It is allowed because there's a general understanding and acknowledgement that people have a right in natural justice to be heard. And so when somebody says, I am guilty with explanation, they're really saying, I'm going to take responsibility, you know, but I have something to say. I explain myself.
Yeah.
Me, I forget justice too. Not just John Brown who say me wrong him. I want to tell you how me come fi cut him. And that is part and parcel of offering a plea of guilty with explanation. So someone, a tribunal or a judge that is in tune with our culture and our people and understand how we relate is going to say, what is your explanation? What you want to say? And give such a person a chance to say what they need to say. And sometimes it turns out that the explanation is tantamount or equal to a plea of not guilty.
Not guilty.
And so the case goes in a totally different direction.
Yes.
Or the parties may still want to resolve it because they're from the same community and they're both going to lose out.
Yes.
There will be no winner if the matter is prolonged. So they may be afforded an opportunity to have some intervention, some kind of mediation. Sometimes they go outside and, according to them, squits it out themselves. And they come back in. Let us say it's an assault case. Come back in and the complainant or the so-called victim might say, I want my doctor bill. And the defendant or so-called accused would say, yes, Judge, may we pay the doctor bill. And because it's my church sister or my neighbor, may we all throw in something extra too. And they make it up right there. And that is one less case on the books, one less person convicted of a crime, one less complainant leaving as if they were caught up in the system and they didn't get justice. So justice is not one size fit all. It is different for different people. You might have another set of parties who want to fight it tooth and nail. I told it the story last time or some time ago of this elderly gentleman who was coming to court. This was a criminal case now, it's a civil case. And he was a landlord and suing people, and he had several cases in court. And he was granted justice in their absence because they didn't make it their business to attend court.
Come to court.
Right. And he was hopping mad. He was upset because his routine was interrupted. He now had nowhere to go. Yes, an elderly gentleman who had a routine that entailed going to court. Maybe 2 days for the week.
That was his sport.
Yes. And it made him feel included. If it made him feel respected, it gave him something to do.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, the words I'm told, he said. Although they say yours can't go along, but that's another thing.
Mm.
He what was his grievance? His grievance was that he didn't ask for this kind of quick justice. He wanted
To stretched out.
until the other party realized that they must have respect for the court and come to court. And
I
so we
see.
would have a full day in court, a full trial, and all of that.
Yeah, yeah.
So I
But-
make a point to say that different people need different things from the justice system. Some people just need an apology.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There have been countless cases that have been resolved that way.
That way. Mm-hmm.
Somebody felt disrespected and they wanted, in the presence of witnesses, to get some apology that would let them just drop the matter.
Mm-hmm.
So a new kind of justice is a way I envisage, and I want us to envisage, as giving us a chance to get the most out of justice, whether it is in terms of making change to the system that already exists or coming with a new approach altogether. But it is to empower, it is to allow us to see ourselves as resourceful, to see ourselves as creative, and to count what we have going for us and take very close look at what needs fixing. So we approach it with a gratitude frequency. And what do I mean by that? I can explain with another example. People coming to the traffic court, sometimes they may have different grouses and issues. But everyone who comes before the traffic court has something to be grateful for. And I've said it in court as well, because we're all motorists. So that put you in a particular category to begin with. You have a vehicle, or you have a driver's license to drive a vehicle. You have access and some amount of freedom to move about as you please. So you are not, it doesn't mean you don't have issues and you don't need your specific kind of justice, but you are starting not at the lowest rung of the ladder. So you have something to be thankful about. And then you can be thankful about the fact that there's somewhere that you can come to get unstuck based on the awareness and the knowledge that you get about your case. And if you have to come there more than one time, at least there's somewhere that operates on a regular basis, rather than you hear say, oh, the court is only sitting twice a month. That would be an issue, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I guess. And as I'm listening to you, I'm wondering now whether or not, because again, I see the Ministry of Justice trying various approaches in terms of delivering justice from the courtroom setting. I'm wondering now whether or not in the system that you're introducing to us, people like lay magistrates and JPs and such like would play a role in delivering justice.
That is an
Would it
idea. That
still
could be. That is an idea, Ed, that could be, it could be ventilated further. I don't have certain powers, but I can facilitate certain ideas, and we can unite around certain things that matter to us. So I am going to make bold to say that Aymara would want to hear about unity. And a new kind of justice would offer an opportunity for there to be some unity
Unity. Yeah.
from
Yeah,
the
it's a,
country.
as I said, I'm listening to you and reflecting. I'm just reflecting on where I grew up, you know,
Yes.
before things even reach into the courthouse
Ah,
within our Maroon village.
yes.
If something happened, somebody, you know, a man call, go over somebody place, and you know, a little contention develop,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we would try to find a way to trash it out. Or that is the term we
Trash
use.
it out.
Yes.
Trash
Yes.
it out before
Yes.
it gets to, you know, any
Yes.
courthouse, you know. So
And I like that term because you turn the issue into trash so it can be thrown away.
you know,
Yes.
so and
Yes.
that is exactly what it meant, you know. You know, we use it that way, you know, to deal with issues that we don't have to go and take up time in a court and wasting
Absolutely.
times and resources, you know.
Yes.
So
Yes.
as Ed was talking about education, we see how we could tie all of that starting from the home. Because if we can deal with issue, sometimes some of the things that we see happen out in the community, you know, it is coming from a home setting and then it's spread out into the community. So just listening keenly to you, a new kind of justice is the involvement of all, you know, and how we are going to get all to involve and see clearly what you are showing us now is it must take some mobilizing some ideas, you know, pitching the ideas continuously that people can understand what this new kind of justice is all about. Because
Yes.
tell the truth, this can work and heal a lot of
Wounds.
wounds that is, you know,
And even
And
prevent some.
I'm
prevent
so
some.
happy that you introduced that term because all of us to some degree have been wounded by the system overall. And we might just point a finger just for this discussion, the justice system. So it might be police hurt or judge hurt or court hurt or lawyer hurt. It could be a family that hurt you or your business partner. But once we can acknowledge that we have alternatives, we have choices to deal with our issues, we are ahead of the game. So I like what you have just introduced because it's really not so new.
No.
It's old values getting a chance to re-emerge. Some of the principles you shared on the last occasion of Ma'at, it takes us back to even some of those old time, those ancient principles. And we get a chance to look at the complexity of our situation. We look at the contradictions, the controversy. So we're talking about, if we're looking at our culture, we're talking about Brother Nancy, and we make light of Brother Nancy. But did we ever stop to think that those who we call scammers now have the energy of Brother Nancy? And could we, and maybe we have some of that in all of us, but is that that cleverness?
That's not a maybe.
It's well, I guess I have been so schooled to be euphemistic.
That's not a
But
maybe.
I'm saying that same energy, it's intelligence, it's cunning, it's cleverness. How can we use those gifts to create new solutions for ourselves? So if
Question
we
right
use
here.
that same label, we're talking about some of the most brilliant people in our population.
It's true. It's true. Question: have you any plans, or have you already published any paper in this regard?
No, I have not. And let me tell you why. I am not yet thinking about that. If I'm going to publish anything, it must be something that from the grade 2 student, or maybe the 2-year-old learning to read, or the 3-year-old to the 99-year-old should be able to absorb it. I don't want this to be academic, because I subscribe to the belief that the illiterate of the 21st century is not going to be those who cannot read or write, it's those who can't embrace change. And one of the things we do is to write these papers, and they're are of extreme academic value, and I'm not knocking that, but when we communicate in that way, we alienate a whole segment of our people who don't need another manual. They don't need another. They don't need another text. They don't need even another Bible, because the Bible itself said, "Thy word have I hid in my heart, that I shall not sin against thee." So I don't want to go that route. It would be easier to go the T-shirt route.
But it would seem to me, though, I expected a little more from you than dodging that question in that kind of
I'm
way.
not dodging it. I'm not dodging it. I'm being very deliberate.
I
And I hope you're looking in my eyes, because I'm trying to look in yours. I am not seeking in this new season to put myself on any pedestal anywhere where I cannot be reached.
No.
I don't know if this has ever happened before, but I want to think that it's a new thing for a former judge in our country to be so accessible. And I have embraced this new way of being. Not that I'm not conscious about some pitfalls that could be involved, but I prefer to reach for the most optimistic and uplifting view of this new way of being. So I am here. People have access to me. I want more than my academic colleagues and my intellectual friends. I want the ordinary person to know that them can call this program and reach Miss Maddox.
Let me say,
Judge Simone.
Your Honor, let me say this.
Yes.
My question was not around the gratification of academia. I see the publication. I was looking into the question of a publication for the utility. And we've been on education for a little bit. And I think it is there's a level of practicality that on the face of it just jumps out at you. And what we're looking at in terms of violence and strife and confrontations in school, I see this level of simplicity of simplification of the justice system as something that is required. And that is why I ask you about the publication of document in relation to this.
I don't want to be bad, and I'm going to let you treat me like a hostile witness. But
Never. No hostility here.
Amara, as a fellow creative being, because many people probably don't know that I am embracing my deeply creative side too. I am sure that we and others who are firing on all 4 cylinders with our imagination can come up with some exciting ways to reach students in schools and many other persons far and wide. So that question is to be answered, Ed.
Of course, but you have the fundamentals ready. You have the fundamentals ready. And that's what I'm talking about. We build on foundations now. And so what you have there is pretty much a good foundation, and that's all I'm saying, Judge.
All right. I'm going to write it down then.
Yeah. Write it down. You know, because as recently I and you had a conversation about as you said, you know, reaching the 2-year-old up, you know,
Yes.
and I was telling you, sharing with you about Walter Rodney as
Yes.
academic, you know, who after recognizing what he has, you know, he wanted so much that the ordinary citizen, the ordinary man could have some knowledge of who they really are and willing to share that and to, you know, with the ordinary people, you know.
Yes.
I am seeing a new kind of justice in that light, you know, that you know, the simplest of simplest, who people might say, boy, simple people, understand that, you know, they are not deprived of what would call their inalienable rights. They are always, you know, at some point in them life, know how they can stand up for this right. And you know, if you fight too much for it, because we would already created an environment of mahat, a balance, a reciprocity, where we can communicate effectively. Is it a new kind of justice you are expressing in that format?
You have said it so well. I
Okay.
won't even add anything. I'll say right on. Yes. Same so, as I say on the road.
For me, it has been fun. I don't know where are we now, but it has been fun. And you actually stopped me at looking into my eyes, so I can't ask any questions after that. I'm all right.
You know, Ed say come on the program and seduce him with a new kind of justice. and that is
In the name of justice,
yeah, and that is
I will plead guilty. And I'm not going to say with explanation.
and that is the kind of seductive effect we want a new kind of justice to have.
A new kind of lyrics in Julia. A new kind of lyrics in.
She's also a poet, you know. I want to know.
Oh, okay.
So when she talk about her creative side, is that's what she's talking about.
Language arts.
Yeah, I mean, so
You have time for one short one?
you want to? Yes, share it, man. Oh, yeah, it's a new kind of justice.
This one is called Tell Life. Yes, you want some more. Like Oliver Twist, relishing mealtime, hungry, craving more. An entreaty on the heels of past sighs, getting up, standing up, ready to view broad new horizons. See your ownership come in. It will feel like you have touched the hem of him who walks on water and heals wounds. Hope, longing pouring from your soul. Its hemorrhage will subside, still soon enough. Faith, before sunset's orange curtains close world stage on bright evening years. You want more.
A poem of hope.
Yes, a new kind of justice. You know what that mean?
Yes. New kind of
Ankh,
justice.
the first part. Ankh mean life.
Me say I cannot speak. I still lost for words.
You lost for words.
Still
we want the people then to know that we are smallcasting and primal media.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We are healing up the people across the world, the people in Russia, the people in in South America, Brazil, Mexico, Africa, people them in Florida, maybe we're going to have more small casting because I have some brethren in Florida with a radio station who are thinking maybe them lagging right now. So
Wonderful.
Fit FM is going worldwide, and we are making the change. We are being the change that we want
That
to see.
we want to see.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and that is the mission that we are on as a people, to come together, irrespective of what religious
Background
you are from and what political affiliation you are of, or we can sit and fix ourselves. We have to fix ourselves first, and by fixing ourselves, we can share the best of ourselves to people, and make sure that we have a beautiful life, because that's what we are here for. Everybody want to experience heaven. Only can experience it within themselves, because it is not so much the place, but the experience that you are getting within yourself.
Preach, Brother Amara.
I don't want to sound like a preacher today.
One final question, Your Honor. One final question. Your Honor, you listening?
Yes, I certainly am.
All right. Apart from my ask in relation to a publication, where next?
Yes.
We're next with A New Kind of Justice. We're next.
Well, the path is being made plain as we speak, and we will be engaging in this kind of way a few more times until we become a full-blown program. And from there, we will grow from strength to strength. We will be open to collaborators and to other persons and guests who have a contribution to make. We are holding hands on this one. This is not a one-woman show or a one-man show. This is a community effort that bears in mind that we are one global community. So it might start here. Yes, it may start here in Jamaica, as many beautiful things on the planet have been known to start right here. Yes. So let us see how this baby grows.
Well, all of us going to be father and nurturer.
Oh, Godfather, Godmother, auntie.
Yeah, auntie. So this baby will be well nurtured.
Oh,
But I'm really, believe you me, I'm really fascinated by the concept, and really, would this talk by itself would not give me good justice in, kind of new justice in kind of getting a deeper understanding. So I'm really looking forward to a document. If not,
absolutely.
If not, a personal lecture.
That would be an injustice to all the other persons who need justice.
You need to write the paper. You need to write the paper.
You're serious? Personal
I'll
lecture.
be writing it. I'm going to take you upon the challenge.
All right, thank you.
That's my natural bent as well.
Okay, cool.
Simone,
Sounds good.
there's the next question I want to ask. Would you be willing that if when you feel like you are well grounded in this, to go into schools and communities and invite you to somewhere to come and sit and talk?
Absolutely. In fact, it brings back some nostalgic feelings of children's court.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But that will be a different experience. But I am absolutely ready to engage the younger children, the not so young ones, adults, aunties, grannies. It's for all of us.
Yes. And the reason why I asked that question, earlier on, Ed was talking about education and the resources, that, we're some lacking. And I believe that we have enough resources in Jamaica can make significant change, you know,
Yes.
because just for instance, some people who attain certain level of education will just say, all right, I'm going to volunteer 6 or all right, just move it from 6, 2 hours a week to some youth in our community where we can go there and go share this with them, just teach them,
Yes.
you know, maths or teach them English, you know what I mean? Just that kind of commitment. Or we can mobilize people like you who are a part of, you know, the justice system, observing that some people don't even understand what it is like until them find themselves in that space, you know, to prepare them enough that they can at least have clarity, you know, about.
And it doesn't have to be such a dreadful experience.
You know, so looking at it this way, what is really needed among us as people is a kind of communication that is really lacking right now. And it's not that we don't have it within us. A good friend of mine, my sister Cherry Natural, me and her talk recently, and she said something to me. She said, I'm already, the culture of reasoning is dying, you know? And I believe that is an important aspect of our lives when we are growing, you know?
Yes.
And we're not talking about for sure who have more knowledge than who.
No, but to help us to use the higher faculties of our mind, reasoning, the power to reason and to think effectively is one of the main muscles of our mind.
I tell you though, if we were showing off, Your Honor, if we were showing off, it still would be a step up, but 3 hours and we're all on our phones. The reason it's not go on, we just step on the phone.
That is one of the danger with this technology as well. The whole thing of face-to-face communication, that spirit-to-spirit connection.
And that is ideal. That's ideal. But even if we don't have that, we can still get back to the cultural touchstone of reasoning.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. I like that term they use, cultural touchstone of reason. We need to emphasize on these things, because a lot of the serious conflict and maybe injuries that we see is people who really can't reason, you know.
So if we remember, or we get trained in how to reason and to think, even if we're going to be tweeting, we can tweet with more meaning.
True.
Yeah. True. So I absolutely endorse that approach. And I am open as much as I can to being part of and to guiding and leading this process. So thank you for having me, Aymara. Thank you, Ed, for the engagement. Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah, dismiss yourself. You have somewhere to go?
No, what is
So now she has stopped me at thank
it's
you.
Because, that is a reflex action, though. Because I'm so accustomed to adjourning. I'm so accustomed to adjourning the court that I remember saying I'm not in the court anymore. Pardon me.
You're in the court, but you're in a new kind of courtroom.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you for the engagement too.
You see the kind of balance that you bring into the whole thing.
Yes,
all right. So, and it's no joke, you know. It's no joke.
But I'm glad we feel good discussing serious matters, and that is something that is close to my heart. Whatever we're doing, we have to feel good doing it. And the more serious, the more important it is to feel uplifted and positive and convinced.
In dealing with it.
Yes. Yes. So I like the vibe.
Yeah. You know, so we see where we are growing as a country. We see where we are growing as a people, because within us there are great ideas, and once we can nurture these ideas and make them not mature, you know, they will bear fruits, and everybody can feed from this one seed of idea.
That one
There's
are
a
big though,
song- there's
that
one
one are
song-
big. That one are big. That one are
new
big.
kind
This-
of justice.
yeah, man, that one are big.
It's
That
big,
one are
man.
big.
It's big, you know.
Think
and that's
about
why
something just occurred to me. How good would it be for somebody who is going to court? Let us say they feel like them in the most dreadful situation. There may be an accused person before the court. They may not even have a lawyer, and there is something they want to understand so that they can be their best self, especially in them dilemma. And for them to be able to say, you know, I learned something more about my situation from a new kind of justice. I'm going to go to court now, and I'm going to face it like a man or a woman. I'm not going to hide, so no warrant go out for me. I am going to face it because I feel as if I can. I feel as if I am more equipped to deal with this situation, and they come away with a good result.
Publish and make us start the town halls. You hear me, Judge?
Yes, sir. I didn't hear the last
I
one.
said publish and let us start the town halls. I might have suggested the town halls, so
Yes.
we go with the town halls and the classrooms.
Yeah, and it's and that's why I'm talking about the whole culture of reasoning, you know, and
Yes.
And because even in politics, you know, as a young political activist growing up, that was a part of the whole system, you know. Why would it kind of grounded more? Because we'd have hours of discussion, reading, looking through documents, talking about international politics, and just looking through these things. I believe the economic pressure, the whole changes of certain things, you know, we are not doing that anymore. And I believe less crime, you know, used to happen them time there, because we could have trash out with issues them, you know, based upon just reasoning.
Yes,
You know,
and throw away the trash.
yeah, you know, and one other thing with they understand why maybe resisting, not say resisting it, you know, but you see papers, just like the guest that we talked to last week, you know, he said he wrote papers on farming and presented to the prime minister, but what the paper there?
Well, you know,
you have to be active. You have to be active behind what you presented to people.
and writing takes some time, you know.
Yeah.
Out of writing a paper and having a reasoning. Would have said the reasoning. Would have
And the paper can develop out of the reasoning too. You know, say even the philosophy, the philosophy and opinion of Marcus Garvey, it was lectures and reasoning that he was having right across the world. You know, I just have a book by Walter Rodney named Groundings with My Brother. Out of that book, in that book, was reasoning and discussion that, you know, gathering information while you are reasoning, you're hearing what is coming through the mind of people, how them think. It's like a kind of a anthropological kind of experience, you know what I mean? You know, just going through and sieving out and finding new ways and means from different people. More dialogical
I'm going to look at it with fresh eyes, that suggestion, because that way too, I will be practicing what I preach, and perception, how you use your perception in different ways, is using your mind to good effect. So yes, I'm going to tap into my power of perception and take on board that idea and see how it could be expressed in a way that is in harmony with a new kind of justice. Plus, I am not a stranger anymore to writing books, so I'm going to put it on the list.
Yeah. Great, great,
Finally, finally.
great, great.
Oh Lord, have
Yeah,
mercy.
that is a journey.
All right. I want to thank you again, me
Yeah.
personally, just for meeting you here. There's nothing like timing and God's timing, because nothing like providence. I'm just here
Yeah,
and you're here,
yeah,
and
Oh.
I've learned a lot this afternoon.
yes.
Yes, ma'am.
And today is Martin Luther King Day.
Everything,
Yes,
right?
indeed.
all the
Yes,
good
indeed.
winds.
Yes, indeed.
And we have this link with smell casting with Primal Media.
Everything's
Network.
happening
Everything
all
is
together.
happening, you know
Yes,
what I mean?
absolutely.
And, finally,
Absolutely.
me sit down side of my virgin Ed Wallace. You know, we can have a discussion. Seeing, you know?
Yes.
And
Judge, have me up for hours and hours sometime, you know. Anytime we start, we can't stop. So we're not lacking in reasoning. We have a lot of that.
it is a vibration, man. And we happy, you know, and you know what? Well, if you see this that we are having here,
Yes.
it's not hard for change the children them. If our children start to observe that we as elders are seniors, I don't want to call myself elders yet, yeah, seniors, can have a, you know, meaningful discussion, you know, and they are in the midst of that, you know.
That
We
is
can-
what
we
that
can
is what I
really-
grew up on. That is what I grew up on.
Yes.
you know, and I believe we dropped the ball. Me have to take responsibility for that, you know.
Many of my memories,
You know,
That is how I grew up as well. In fact, I recall with some humor that both my parents, but my father especially, of blessed memory, who I said goodbye to some 17 years today, as a matter of fact, he would be debating with us as if we were grown adults. And when we said, Daddy, that no fear, that is a big word. Him says, so when I buy a dictionary, give a fuck. Go look for the word. How big is it? It can't hold in this room. Go find the word. And when you digest the meaning, let's come back and finish our discussion.
at 8 years old, I was discussing the Puerto Rican model of government as opposed to what we were trying with the Westminster model at the time. A good time now, but sitting in the midst of old people, I
Yes.
learned about the Puerto Rican model to the extent where I could say, kind of a thing.
Yes.
You know, a whole lot of my memories, if I speak sometimes, you will believe that I was there, but they're memories gathered from sitting with the old folks and listening to reasoning and having manners. Because remember, you know, when you're little, you know, you can't put them out in a big people business, you know. You just sit down and take it in. And that was a mark of respect. And if we could get back there, there are some good things that we can get back to. Not everything looking back is a step back. You know, and we can get some real good things out of it. If only to get the youth to understand or overstand, whichever way you put it.
Yes, it was really it is a, I mean, I even like use the word was, you know, it is a pleasure sitting here, you know, and we know that we're going to have Ed many times more. What you say, Ed?
You're going to have our back many times too?
Yeah, man. That is what are you why you want to come back here?
Yeah, no, we're good with that.
So, yeah, so next Monday, Simone will be back. Yeah. Until everything solidify, you know, when she will have her full time to express, you know. So she will be always be a part of the community buzz with a new kind of justice, you know. And we hope we can have you very soon, Ed, because you have so much to impart, you know.
Well, as I said, Providence. Providence.
We know, we understand, you know. Whereas like, you know, you are looking to me, maybe be tentative of the Prime Minister of Jamaica.
Or President of the United States. Don't forget that.
Well, me just have to say, me are virgin from now.
Buy him out.
We not buy you out. More work with the administration.
What's an argument that now?
I want to hear a special song if that is
Yes.
good.
The program and that Ed is blushing. So what Ed blushing for now? Okay, speak with me off air. Simone is my sister. Speak with me off air.
Sister Julia, are you the music mistress today?
Yes.
There's a special song I'd love to hear if I can hear it, if no copyright issues arise around it.
What song is that?
It's Justice, a one-word prayer. Ziggy Marley and the Melody Makers.
Justice, one word prayer. I'll have to
Yeah.
find it. You just tell me now.
Yeah, you
when
should
we're
have said
wrapping
that
up.
when we are wrapping up.
But I will definitely put it on the playlist. All right. Okay.
All right. Thanks again. Thanks again.
Come on.
It has been my
Big up Primal and big up all of the people.
listeners.
Listen.
to
All the listeners across the world.
Yeah.
FM to the world.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and look for Strong. We will be here again next Strong.
All right.